Good morning out there. Thank you very much for watching one of Your Property Matters. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but I want to introduce you today to someone that I've known for many years. I've been working with for a good few years. It's Carl Brignell from Elite Conveyancing. Morning, Carl.
Morning, Mark. How are you doing?
I'm good. And yourself?
Very well, thanks. Yeah, very well.
Yeah, good. I understand you're in a hotel room somewhere in the UK.
Yeah, sorry about the backdrop. It's not as flash as yours, but yeah, in a hotel room up in Chester.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. So I think one of the reasons Carl is from Elite Conveyancing, and Elite Conveyancing I've been using now for probably about 6 years in one form or another, and I've been recommending, and I'm always harboring on about, to my buyers, to my sellers, always trust your estate agent for recommendations, because why we are recommending conveyancers is because of our experiences for them. And I'm part of EXP. There are now over 300 EXP estate agents in the UK. We all meet on a Friday in our virtual world. We chat about our triumphs and our problems. And this year, it's everyone's experiencing the same issue, which is the fact that deals are taking so long, much longer than usual, to get to a point of exchanging contracts. The communication from solicitors is absolutely atrocious, and it's always a heart-sinking moment when you tie up a deal and your buyer, because generally your sellers you've conditioned to using the solicitors that you're comfortable with, come in and give you somebody that is going to be an issue. You don't really want to start slating them, but for everyone's benefit, you have to actually point out that you shouldn't be using that particular firm because of the experiences that we've all experienced. So, Carl, you've been doing this for many years. You're on the other side. Tell me what's going on out there.
When do we start? So we're obviously off the back of the pandemic, which saw a spike in activity in the property market. That was triggered by a stamp duty incentive, and also just people spending more time than usual at home, deciding their house is too big, too small, getting divorced, having a baby, all that sort of thing. And that's added pressure on the markets in general. Some of the larger institutions have struggled to meet that demand, struggled to upscale. So we're now faced with a backlog of work within law firms and within big mortgage companies, management companies, and all the large stakeholders within the industry. To give you an example of what's going on and put things in perspective, we had a meeting with the lawyers yesterday to talk about one of the top 3 lenders in the UK. And there's a process when you're selling a house. We have to obviously apply for a redemption figure, which is very easy. We just send off an email or a letter to the lender, and they send back the redemption figure within good time, and that allows us to complete. With this particular lender, that process has broken down. It seems to me that they're massively understaffed. So we're requesting the redemption statements in the same way we always did at the beginning of the transaction. Gives the lender ample time, but for whatever reason, and we can only speculate on this, they're just not coming back with the redemption figures. We can't complete without those figures, which means our only option is then to call the lender, which is not like a quick call between you and I. Calling these lenders can take, and I think the guys quoted, about an hour to get a redemption statement. Right. So something that's quite simple and used to take us 5 minutes and firing off an email is now causing us a lot of problems, and it is causing our lawyers to have to sit on the phone for an extra hour just to get a basic redemption statement. And that seems to be the pattern across the whole of the industry at the moment, with mortgage companies, like I said, management companies, and a lot of these larger law firms. We're taking a lot longer than usual to get basic replies back.
So they're understaffed because Yeah, because if you think about it, we actually have got a lot less transactions going on now than we had maybe 4 years ago, because the reason why house prices are not falling is purely and simply supply and demand. So that means the supply is not as much as it was. So you've got less transactions happening, but obviously there's been cutbacks through every department when it comes to buying and selling properties. And you've probably got these spikes where it gets very busy and it just can't be coped with. But it's simple politeness to ping a quick email. Let me tell you something. All right, I'm busy. I work on my own. Okay, I've got a big pipeline. I've got 11 properties for me in my pipeline, which is fantastic. I've got 12 properties currently on the market for sale. I've got viewings on everything. I've got people calling me all the time, and I don't work into the evenings because I do have a cut off after I've had my dinner. That's it. And nobody actually ever calls me into the evenings, which is great. So I'm quite lucky. I'm fortunate with that. But I'll always send a quick ping. Sorry, I can't get back to you. I'll get back to you shortly. I had this situation with one of these supermarket firms where I sent an email for an update. The update came back with an automated email response, which basically just turned around and said, if you are an estate agent, do not expect a response. Please get your response through our client.
Yeah.
Now, there's a couple of issues here. So as an old-timer estate agent, you don't really want to get your updates through your client because your client can tell you their version of events, and they're not going to be right up to date with everything. They're not going to know necessarily what everything means. So you do need to hear, it's like, you could get an exchange. Sometimes it's the client that phones you first of all and says, we've exchanged. That's great. But you don't, you need to get it confirmed by the solicitor. Completion, you're not going to release the keys to a completion until you've heard it from a solicitor. So general politeness means that. And I have to say, and I'm going to go back to you because you've come on here today, and I would love to give you the best plug, because it's not just me. I found out that quite a few of us EXP estate agents are using Elite as well, which is fantastic. And Elite is the name. It's Elite. Your guys really communicate, and it's like speaking to you. It's like speaking to just a normal person that's not up themselves, that actually would just say, yeah, hi, Mark. Yeah, this is what's happening. And in layman's terms, and can you get hold of these people because of this that will help out a bit? And it's just normal.
Yeah. The points you picked up there, I mean, the first point about these automated emails is, I mean, it makes my blood boil, but also I'm grateful for that type of competition because they're just so off the mark, and it's a very lawyer approach to solving the problem. So they're clearly inundated with emails and phone calls. I would suggest because they're overworked, they've taken on too much work, it's all about greed and money. But their solution to reducing the number of emails and phone calls is to send back an automated response. We've seen automated responses saying, thanks for your email, we'll deal with it within the next 72 hours. And that's just a lawyer's mindset. What do we do about all these emails? We're going to tell them we're not going to deal with it for three days, and therefore the clients and the agents will be happy with that because we put it in writing. And of course, it doesn't alter anything. It doesn't change people's anxieties or their needs to get an update. It's just a nonsense. So a lot of these processes are built for the benefit of the law firms as opposed to the clients and what the clients or the agents need.
Yeah.
You're right. When you talk about old-fashioned service and things like that, that's exactly what we do. You can only do that if you're realistic in the amount of work that you're taking on. The problem that a lot of these law firms and institutions have got is, like I said, they've taken on too much work, so they cannot physically look after every single client. There also seems to be a complete obsession within the property industry, on your side as well as ours, with automation and efficiency. And when you're buying or selling a home, it's hugely emotive and personal journey that you're about to go on. You're selling or buying a family home. And automated updates doesn't cut it. I saw yesterday a company offering automated valuations on your house. And I just think you're just way off the mark. If your house is your prized possession, the most valuable possession in the instance of most people, why would you rely upon some algorithm or some automated system to put a price on it? And I think that's one of the reasons that you and EXP are really stealing market share. It is coming full circle. It is coming back to traditional service and a more personable approach, which rightly it should be when you're buying or selling a house. There's only so much you can automate and so much efficiency you can realize. People want people to look after them and to guide them through this part of their life. And that's exactly what we do at Elite. We take time out. We say to our lawyers, our clients are on two journeys. We're on a legal journey. We need to get them to A to B and tick all the boxes and do all the things that lawyers need to do. But also remember, your clients are on a human journey. And there's anxiety and stresses and excitement and everything that goes with buying and selling a house. And that never goes away. So the smart lawyers out there, the smart firms, the smart estate agents will address that human journey as well as the logistics involved in buying and selling a house.
So, okay, that's very good. So I always want to just go back a little bit onto your actual lawyers, your solicitors, should I say, that you've got with you, with Elite. I've experienced quite a few of them, and I've actually known quite a few as well before they joined Elite, and they were all senior people. You know, they were the people that were running the whole process in any case before they joined you. So I feel that the caliber of solicitor that you have are decision makers. They're people that actually don't just say that can't be done, because that's very frustrating as well from an agent's point of view, is you hit these brick walls. And I find that the sales process is a series of brick walls that need to be blown apart. And so many solicitors, it's like, hit this brick wall, can't do that. And there's no solution that's being offered. There's nothing else. And I'm finding, you know, with Dom, with Hannah, with Emma that I use with you, they've always, you know, every time there's been a problem, it's been, well, this is the issue and these are the options. And that's something that I love also, that, you know, I'm copied into all the emails, you know, that they're sending to their own clients as well. So it's generally a good discussion, and therefore the buyers and sellers, the clients, always feel like the journey is continuing, even if it slows up in parts, it's getting there. You know, it's amazing. Okay, as the agent, what I hear is, you know, somebody's got a vendor selling their property. They haven't heard anything from the buyer. Their solicitor hasn't heard anything from the buyer's solicitor. The first thing they think is they're not buying it anymore. And then it's like, what are you going to do about it? Should we put the property back on the market? And I'm aware of this, and I'm trying to get answers myself, and I'm not. And therefore, that's what's happening. And yes, you don't know. I mean, I'm speaking to the buyers, and the buyers are saying, no, we're still buying, but there's nothing else except for lip service that's telling me that they're buying. And I do feel that with a good solicitor that's keeping everybody in the loop the whole time, that's little tiny flagging up of messages here and there, don't worry, it's all going well, and this is why it's going well. And that's the feedback I can give to my vendor. You know, I've been away for a couple of weeks, just come back. I don't normally have this tan, although it's fading quite fast. And you know, but the nice thing is, being away, I've been copied into emails the whole time. And just the last couple of days, just really spent it probably about 60% of the day on sales chasing. And I'm completely up to date on all of my sales. And that's because the majority of them are using yourself. So that's, I mean, obviously I'm praising you, I've got you on here, but there is a real issue out there. And one of the big reasons why we discussed that we were going to do this before I went away was because I had a journey that was literally making me sick, physically sick. And I called you up out of desperation and just said, they're using X solicitors. And this is it's just ridiculous. I don't understand. I mean, the actual buyer's solicitor had not communicated to the buyer nor to the seller solicitor for about a month. And it had to be escalated so high up the chain. And even they couldn't, even the senior people in that firm still couldn't make things happen. It did in the end, but it was just unnecessarily frustrating. And that was that.
You touched on a couple of good points. One is about the caliber of lawyers. I mean, I say this as somebody that spends all day, every day looking for lawyers to join Elite, and we probably take on about 10% of people that we interview.
Mm-hmm. And how many have you got now? How many have you got?
We got 11, soon to be 12 lawyers.
Brilliant. Okay.
Definitely interviewed over 100 by now.
Mm.
And you talk about common sense and our lawyers being able to apply the common sense in legal scenarios, which is what you need and allows chains to move on quicker than they should. They do perhaps with other firms. To give you a good story and a good example of how some of these other firms work, we were acting for a seller on a flat, third floor flat, and we received inquiries which included, is there a conservatory attached to the property?
Yeah.
And we went back along the lines of, this is a third floor flat, it's ridiculous, why are you asking us this? And they wouldn't accept that answer. It had to be a yes or no. So they sent it back to us saying, realise it's a third floor flat, please can you tell us yes or no? And there's no room for common sense. And that's some of these larger firms, and the guys there on the front line are all plugged into computers and they're telling them what to do. So they're devoid of common sense, which is a problem within a lot of chains. The other point you make about keeping in contact with clients, it's not just about finding decent lawyers that know the technical side of conveyancing. It's about finding decent lawyers that also will connect with clients.
Yeah.
So just as we interview or we get CVs through from a lot of inexperienced conveyancers, we interview a lot of experienced lawyers that are just so angry and so at their wits' end, and they leave the interview and I think you really shouldn't be working in conveyancing, and they've lost that passion for the job, they've lost the empathy for clients, they've forgotten what it's like to buy or sell a house, and everybody as far as they're concerned is a nuisance. So we try to achieve that happy medium. We need good qualified lawyers that can apply common sense, but also empathetic lawyers that understand that human journey and can reach out and to hold the hands of clients to walk them through it. And that's one of the reasons, hopefully, that we stand out from the rest of the industry. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, no, you definitely do. So I think that, we've covered a fair bit today, and I really thanks very much, Carl, for joining me from your hotel room there, and you're up there doing more interviews today. So what I'm going to actually say, if anybody wants to find out more or use Carl, numbers up on the screen there. You can contact Elite directly yourself if you're just about to sell or you're just about to buy. Don't worry if you're not using me, it's no issue. You can just go to Elite themselves because they are fantastic. And it's not just a plug for Elite. What it really is, it's just to say, don't just look at the price, because I feel that Elite are really competitive in any case. They really are. But it's not about the price. You're spending hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds, sometimes millions of pounds in your purchase, to pay an extra few £100 to a good solicitor really will make or break your deal, and could save you £1 million basically, in the long run. So yeah, but if you want to get hold of Carl and Elite, contact me or contact Carl. And thank you very much, Carl, and have a great day.
No problem.
All right. Take
All
care.
right. Thanks a lot, Mark.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.